We are going to wipe you out like the vermin you are.
We got vampires in the Bronx.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
What's going on, y'all? It's Traco from Traco ENT, and I want to welcome y'all back to the entertainment room. This week, I had the pleasure to watch a movie that I really wasn't going to review. It's called Vampires versus the Bronx. Reason why I wasn't going to review it is I don't like to talk about places I ain't never really been before or places where I'm not from. You know what I mean? I talk about Miami a lot. I can talk about Virginia. I can talk about Japan. But New York, I've been. I visited. I am not a native. So with that being said, there are certain things that I just can't talk about when it comes to New York, because I think of New York stereotypes. I think of people saying son, people saying B, people walking around in Timberlands. Come on, son. That's what I think of when I think about New York. So I didn't want to culturally appropriate the city of New York. I didn't want to talk about it. But a friend of mine asked me to do this review, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about Vampires versus the Bronx. So this movie, Vampires versus the Bronx, is about three friends who try to stop a group of people, I want to say a new business, if you will, from gentrifying their neighborhood, right? I know that New York, or New Yorkers, they find this one business very important. We call them corner stores. I don't know if they separate corner stores from bodegas. It's a bodega. That place is ran by a neighborhood guy who assisted in raising the three young men that the story is focused around. Those young men are Lil Mayer, played by Jaden Michael, Bobby, played by Gerald Jones III, and Luis, played by Gregory Diaz IV. Shout out to Gerald Jones II and first, and Gregory Diaz 3, 2, and 1, because I want to, it's pretty cool to have kids that got your name a bunch of times. Me and my wife actually created my son's name to merge our family's name, but that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about it in another video. Don't worry about it. I'll do an intro video or something. Either way, this movie is all right. If y'all have ever seen Vampire in Brooklyn, it's similar. It's just with kids.
Yo, check out the courthouse.
They're turning it into apartments?
Y'all know how this starts. Them white people with canvas bags, that's always the first sign.
Hey, what you doing down here, bro?
It's too late to fight back now. We are going to wipe you out like the vermin you are.
We got vampires in the Bronx.
It's not supposed to be scary. It has, for kids, it would be scary. It'd probably be scary as shit, to be honest with you. There's random, I don't want to call them white, random Caucasian people walking around the neighborhood who, some of them just so happen to be vampires who are assisting in gentrifying the neighborhood. Then you got normal white people that are in the neighborhood, so it's kind of hard to differentiate the two. But I will say this, the three young men who led this role, they killed it. They were doing things that were realistic. They were doing things that honestly I could see kids in anywhere near you doing. They just had a New York or a Bronx specifically spin on it because, the Bronx is a borough. I want to say borough. Is a borough in New York that is separate from places like Queens, Harlem, Brooklyn, Staten Island. I think I'm pretty sure I'm missing a lot of boroughs. Either way, like I said, I don't want to talk about it. I ain't from New York. But what I will say is other people who were in this movie, Method Man pretty much played himself, but as a Catholic priest. So Father Method Man, think about it like that. he doesn't, it's not like he has an outstanding like acting role. He pretty much legitimately plays what you would expect Method Man to be like if he was a Catholic priest. There's actually one funny scene in the movie where like everybody bows their head to pray. Mind you, I don't want to talk about Catholics because I don't know about their church or nothing, but like they bow their head to pray, and like the two of the boys would get up and leave, and like everybody got their head down, and you see Method Man do this, and I was like, if that ain't the blackest shit I've seen in a long time in one of these goofy like kid movies, it was hilarious. I laughed. I'm sorry I spoiled it for you, but when you see it, you'll get it and you'll laugh. If you are from the Bronx or from New York specifically, you'll probably love this movie. It's one of them. It's one of the movies where I feel like if you get it, you get it. It's just not. It's not Miami, so I don't get it. But it was all right. Like I said, I would give it a 3 out of 5. To be completely honest, because the acting was all right. Some of the jokes landed. It's about kids, so you got to go into it with the mindset of, you know, think of like the old school Disney movies we used to have. If you look back on them now, they're not the most wonderful things in the world, but they're about kids, so you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. I would also like to say, give a shout out to Coco Jones, who played Rita. She was like the love interest crush of Lil Mayer. She plays a 16-year-old girl. She's not 16 in real life, but whatever. You know what? I ain't judging her for it. Get your money, sis. Get your bag. And then you got Shea Wiggum. I want to say his name is Shea Wiggum. He has the face of like a bad guy in all of the movies that I've seen him play in. I'm not necessarily saying he is a bad guy. He actually, now that I think about it, he was in a movie. This is a movie plug. He was in a movie called Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey. And that is a phenomenal movie. If you've never, I keep saying the word phenomenal in all my videos. It's an outstanding movie. If you've never seen Lincoln Lawyer before, it's one of Matthew McConaughey's best movies. It kind of broke him out of the lane of being the goofy heartthrob into like being a more serious actor. And I would definitely suggest to anybody, if you enjoy crime, thriller, like lawyer type movies, Lincoln Lawyer is also a dope movie to go check out. It takes place in California. It's about a guy who is trying to get a client off from, I want to say, domestic violence or an assault charge, something like that. And then the shit goes left. But either way, back to this movie. I want to give a shout out to rappers from the Bronx because I didn't know any particularly off the top of my head. So Fat Joe apparently is from the Bronx. Grandmaster Caz, Slick Rick, Swiss Beats, Funkmaster Flex. So yeah, shout out to the borough that is the Bronx because, you know, I ain't trying to culturally appropriate because I ain't from the Bronx at all. Southerner here. But yeah, I would love to know what y'all thought about the movie. If you're from New York, tell me if you got it. Tell me some things that only New Yorkers would get from the movie that I personally would not get. And I would love for y'all to continue to like, share, and subscribe my videos. I appreciate y'all always coming through, always showing love. If you have the chance, I do usually post them on Instagram. Go check it out on there because I know that everyone doesn't always like every type of media location. So I don't always ask people to go check on YouTube, but I do ask y'all check it out some way, shape, or form. It also be on Traco's Entertainment Room on Facebook. So please, again, like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank you. And this ends the movie review for Vampires versus the Bronx. I was told to I don't know if they do that a lot in the Bronx, but if y'all do, you're welcome. I hope I made you feel at home. Take it easy.